When most people imagine pre-colonial Philippines, they picture small villages with no formal rules. But, archaeology, early Spanish accounts and oral traditions show something remarkable. Filipinos had detailed laws long before Europeans arrived. These laws governed marriage, property, trade, inheritance, leadership, conflict resolution, and even diplomacy. They were not written in books. Instead, they lived through memory, councils, and traditions passed from elders to the young. To understand these ancient laws is to understand the depth of early Filipino civilization. The barangay, a structured society. Before Spain, Filipinos lived in organized communities called barangays. A barangay was not just a location, it was a political unit with rules, leaders, and shared responsibilities. Each barangay was led by a Datu, a respected leader chosen for wisdom, bravery, or noble lineage. But the Datu did not rule alone. He governed with a council of elders known as the Majinu or the Timawa, depending on the region. Together, they settled disputes, made community decisions, and shaped laws based on tradition and fairness. These councils ensured that no single leader could make decisions without the approval of the community. It was an early form of checks and balances. Oral law, the living legal code. In many ancient societies, including early China, India, and the Pacific Islands, laws were passed orally. The Philippines was the same. Laws were memorized by elders and recited when needed. Oral law may sound simple, but in practice it required incredible discipline. Elders trained for years to remember legal customs word for word. They preserved centuries of tradition without any written script. This memory-based system made the law flexible. When society changed, laws adapted naturally while keeping their core values. Property and inheritance laws, well, pre-colonial Filipinos had clear rules on property ownership. Families could own land, rice fields, boats, and fishing areas. If a couple married, their property became shared and passed on to their children. Daughters and sons both had inheritance rights. Women were not excluded. In many cases, daughters inherited more if they were expected to care for aging parents. If someone died without children, their property went to siblings or parents depending on the situation. This level of structure surprised Spanish chroniclers, who expected no formal rules yet found organized household laws already in place. Marriage in ancient Philippines involved agreements between families. Both sides exchanged gifts, symbolizing unity and shared responsibility. What really stands out is how women were respected under these laws. A married woman kept her own property. She could even initiate divorce if her husband was abusive, unfaithful, or neglectful. Divorce actually existed before Spain, and it was legal and accepted in many regions, including Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. If a couple divorced, property was divided fairly. Children were not considered the possession of the father alone. Custody was based on the child's well-being and the capability of each parent. These laws reveal that pre-colonial Filipinos valued fairness over rigid hierarchy. The law of compensation. One of the most important legal principles in early Filipino society was the concept of compensation, known in many areas as bugsay, bayad, hulip, or balos, depending on the region. If someone caused harm, the goal was not punishment, the goal was restoration. For example, if a neighbor damaged someone's property, they were required to replace or repair it. If someone injured another person, they had to provide compensation to the family. This system prevented endless cycles of revenge. Instead of violence, communities focused on restoring harmony. Crimes and punishments were, an important part of life. Serious crimes existed and had strict consequences. Crimes such as murder, theft, and adultery were handled by the Datu and council. Punishments ranged from fines to banishment, depending on the community. But even in criminal cases, compassion played a role. If a family forgave the offender and accepted compensation, tensions ended peacefully. This approach created strong community bonds and discouraged unnecessary conflict. Trial by ordeal, the ancient courtroom. In some barangays, disputes that could not be settled through negotiation used a method known as ordeal. This was a ritual test meant to reveal truth through symbolic action. People might be asked to hold a hot object, dive into deep water, or, retrieve a stone from boiling liquid. The idea was not punishment, it was a spiritual test believed to expose lies. While it may seem strange today, many ancient cultures use similar methods, including medieval Europe. Filipinos engaged in vibrant trade before Spain. Trade laws maintained fairness and honesty in exchanges. Barter markets had rules regulating weights, measures, and fair prices. Traders who cheated customers could be fined or even banned from trading areas. Communities protected valuable resources such as rice fields, water sources, and fishing grounds. Breaking these rules meant violating the entire community, not just an individual. This proves early Filipinos did not trade blindly. They followed a structured system designed to maintain trust. Diplomacy and inter-barangay agreements played a big role in early Filipino communities. Barangays did not exist in isolation. They traded, formed alliances, and, sometimes clashed with each other. To prevent conflict, leaders created agreements similar to modern treaties. These included things like shared fishing rights, territorial boundaries, safe passage for traders, and even mutual defense pacts. The fact that these agreements existed really shows political sophistication. Filipinos used diplomacy long before colonization, which is, honestly, pretty impressive. The Timawa, Maharlika, and Alipin classes. Social classes existed, but they were not rigid or permanent. A person could move up or down depending on merit, bravery, or debt. The Timawa were free citizens who supported the Datu and had rights to land and community resources. The Maharlika, or nobles, served as advisors, warriors, and community leaders. Their position was based on respect, not absolute authority. The Alipin, often misunderstood today, were not always what we think of as slaves. Many Alipin were individuals working off debts or serving in households, and they actually had rights, plus the possibility of earning their freedom. Spanish writers even noted that Alipin had protections and couldn't be mistreated without consequences. This flexible system really shows that Filipino social structure was, far different from slavery-based societies in other parts of the world. One of the most surprising strengths of pre-colonial law was, honestly, the status of women. So, women could inherit property, file legal complaints, initiate divorce, manage household resources, serve as spiritual leaders, and even influence political decisions. Among the Visayans, some women held the title Babaylan, acting as healers and advisors to the Datu. Their views carried legal and spiritual authority. This high status is honestly essential to understanding ancient Filipino justice. It was neither male-dominated nor oppressive, it was balanced. The Datu served as both leader and legal authority. He listened to disputes, consulted elders, and issued decisions based on custom. But the Datu's power depended on trust. If he acted unfairly, the community could leave and form a new barangay. This limited abuse of authority. Leadership was service, not control. When Spain colonized the islands, they attempted to replace these laws with European ones. Church courts and colonial judges became the legal authority. Many traditional practices were suppressed or forgotten. However, some customs survived in remote areas. Indigenous groups in Mindanao, Luzon, and the Visayas continued to use oral laws for centuries. Even today, traces of these legal traditions still remain in local customs and community rules. So, why do these laws matter today? Well, ancient Filipino laws challenge old colonial narratives. They actually prove that the Philippines had culture, structure, and justice long before any European influence. These laws really show that early Filipinos valued a lot of important things: fairness, community responsibility, protection of property, respect for women, and of course a balance between punishment and forgiveness. They reveal a civilization that thrived not because of royal power, but because of cooperation and shared values. The ancient laws of the Philippines remind us that order existed before colonization. Communities maintained peace through wisdom, not force. They resolved conflict through restoration, not destruction. They honored women, protected families, and valued responsibility. When we study these laws today, we rediscover a truth that colonization once tried to hide. Filipinos had a strong, intelligent legal tradition long before foreign rule, a tradition built on fairness, honor, and community. It is a legacy worth remembering.